I should say.
Thank you.
I just.
No.
I was like, hey, we never.
I'll make a motion to approve today's agenda.
We have a motion and a second. for today's agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for June 9th.
I will second that.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes for June 9th. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Claims here.
I've reviewed the claims. I'll make a motion to accept the claims for an amount of $143,687.75.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Meetings attended.
I didn't have a meeting, but we did get, thrashed about and got the new compressor installed last week at the complex, and it's officially running online, and I do believe the air conditioning is working, so no complaints. That's a good thing. That was a thrash last week, but we did get that accomplished. And, Dennis is looking into changing the thermostats, getting away from the pneumatic system, so hopefully by the time we need those for heat and the boilers, we will have something different.
Good.
That's all I have.
So I had a Russ meeting, wasn't too much there, just went over financials, although we did have a discussion and Bruce Hudson really recommended that we do a moratorium on these data centers. And I think he'd already talked to you, Kevin, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and the Henry County Supervisor informed me they're having like a public forum of some sort, talking about the data centers and different solar and different things, June 25th at 6 o'clock. And basically, he invited us, or it's open to the public, so I don't know. I'll be gone, so I didn't know if either you two wanted to go and see what they had to say.
I haven't.
Why didn't you say that? What did you?
June 25th at 6 o'clock.
Where at?
Oh, that public building there on Washington Street there in Mount Pleasant, what's it called? Emergency Service Building, I think, or something like that.
Let me know if you guys are planning to go to the
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I don't think everything else.
Okay. Well, we had a P and Z meeting on last week, but, making some good progress on the wind ordinance. We did discuss the moratorium on data center construction, and I believe we have that on the agenda today. Then on Wednesday, we were having the Rose Report of Eastern Iowa meeting. Also had a workforce development meeting. Both of those were pretty much business as usual. And then Friday morning, we had a meeting of the GIS committee, discussing this GoDaddy program, and I believe that's on the agenda for order too, so we'll have further discussion on that. That's all the meeting I have. Okay, time for public input.
Okay.
I'd just like to add a little bit when you get to the discussion about the data centers. I have some information about that. Go ahead, Kathy.
Okay. I'm gonna stand up because, I have something I want to read. So, my name is Kathy Vance and I'm the chair of the Historic Preservation Commission. That's why I'm here today. I got a call from someone of the public wondering why the Historic Preservation Commission have not addressed the jail as a national landmark. So I wanted to discuss that just a little bit with you. And I know it's not on your agenda today, and I'm not asking for me to be on your agenda next week. Okay, I just want to tell you what I told them so that you guys can share this too if you want. Preservation commissions cannot save every building. They should not, and they cannot. We have to take a lot into account the needs of the community, the interest of the owner of the building. Huh, that's huge. Plus, of course, cultural and architectural style of the buildings in question. Our commission is funded with a total budget from the county of $3,000. So we have to carefully consider everything that we do because it involves grant writing and fundraising if we're going to actually do anything beyond some basic stuff. So our mission in Louisa County is not to save everything that is old. We've chosen to assist those that come to us for the most part. In recent years, that was the City Council in Morning Sun for the Mellinger Memorial Library and their City Hall, and the Fairview Church Committee, which is owned by Louisa County Hometown Pride. They both came to us and we helped both of those buildings get listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Of course, both structures had architectural and cultural significance. Preserving those structures didn't clash with modern demands like need for updated infrastructure or parking or whatever. And both buildings had structural integrity. So we look at those three things and the opportunity to get on the register because of that because of how the architecture for those two cases anyway. Sometimes an old building is deteriorated beyond the point where restoration is economically or physically feasible. And the old jail, I would say, is leaning in that direction. I don't mean it's leaning. I mean, there's a lot of issues with it. It would take a lot of money. So I want to remind everyone that building owners, which is the county in this case, must sign off and support any effort to get on the National Register. You actually have to sign the initial reports before the commission does anything. We don't just march out and say, we want this building. You can sit here, Adam, because I'm leaving when I'm done here. It requires money to accomplish this too. So you have to hire a consultant. Well, I mean, someone in the county could do it if you had someone that you were hiring for this process. But that takes money too. But about $40,000 to the total to get something, to do the process to get to a nomination. That doesn't mean you'll get on the register because then the National Park Service decides that or not. But $40,000 of which is not paid for by somebody writes a grant, generally speaking. I wrote the 2 grants for the things we got on the register in the last few years, but not 100%. We had to come up with fundraising and match. In Morning Sun from the city paid the match, and at Fairview they raised money for their match. So 50 to 75% is paid for by the grant. The rest is paid for, in this case, by the supervisors. So
Generally speaking, there's no free lunch.
there is no free lunch. And just because I wanted to, being on the register, not only no free lunch, but even when you're on the register, that doesn't mean that money falls from trees. You can apply for grants that are only for National Register buildings to do mitigation. I think there's water in the basement over there and whatever. You can apply for grants, but again, you have to have someone who's doing grant writing for you, and it's not 100% of the cost of fixing the building. It's part of the cost, and you come up with the rest. And finally, just being on the register does not mean you can't tear down the building. Anybody can tear down any building that's on the National Register. You don't want it anymore, it's gone. It doesn't save any building. So you could still go through these. I mean, so the upshot is that you, as the supervisors, and this is what I tell people on the phone, you would need to come to the Historic Preservation Commission, and Sean is your representative on our board, and say you would like us to proceed with this process. We do not have the capacity to save every building in Louisa County, and that's not where we've decided to move. Very few counties. I mean, there are a few where people, they see an opportunity for a building, which our Preservation Commission doesn't see opportunity here, except perhaps as a county building. So if you wanted to have, I'm just going to say, you're going to move auditor's office over there. Susan, I'm just making that up. Right. I suspect the building does have some, I looked up other similar jails, and there's opportunity maybe, but it takes you signing off on it, a lot of money, and it's a 2-year process, just so you know. Okay, if you want to save that building instead of building another building. So that's what I've shared with the public that has called me. And I wanted to share that with you on behalf of the Historic Preservation Commission. No decision to be made on that today. Unless there's a question of me at all, I'm leaving.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Before Kathy leaves, I'd like to repeat what I had mentioned earlier. If you tear down the building, one thing you should do, and I think the Historic Preservation Commission would agree, is document
Yeah.
that building totally, completely. And that would mean doing the description of the building inside out,
Photograph.
everything. So it doesn't have to be an expensive thing. Historic preservation, people can do it themselves probably if they had the time. But
Record it.
anybody can. I've done historic research on the building already. I know who the builders were, or I can't remember, but who the builders were and the circumstances behind it. There was a bond issue involved. And all that stuff can be researched and put in documentation.
Bet I know somebody that knows most of that information.
Probably.
I think he does.
Still the bricks too.
What?
Still the bricks.
Perhaps, and something the Historic Preservation Commission can do. Interestingly enough, this is before my time, but you all know that there are about 115, 117 buildings in the county that have those little historic signs. They're not National Register buildings. There are some National Register buildings in the county, but I'm talking about the little historic sign that says Louisa County History, and they're on houses, and there's one at the fairgrounds. You know what I'm talking about? Those little signs. There's several on buildings. They didn't choose the jail as one of those. So and at the time, Verlek was pretty tight on, what they considered historical and the research that they did. So the fact that they didn't do that speaks volumes to me too. I'm not saying the building shouldn't be saved. That's a decision you have to make. And if you decide to make that decision and you want the historic preservation, then you need to come back and talk to us and we'll start some work on that. But it's costs you money. It's a 2-year process and you should think it through. Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy.
you.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. And from number 7, read payroll changes, you guys have an opportunity to look at those.
No, I didn't see them.
We have one that's just step raise, I believe, and the other is a resignation from Emily Abney. And she was a dispatcher.
Let's see.
Effective 6/18. Here's one. The other review on item number 8 is for the ambulance expenditures.
And I reviewed those last week in the auditor's office and everything seems to be on target, so, yeah. They're still following their allowances and. Yeah.
Okay, item number 9. We need,
I'll make a motion to open a public hearing for the Louisa County fiscal year 26 budget amendment.
I'll second that.
Roll call, Sean,
Here.
Scott,
Here.
Kevin,
here,
and Susan.
okay. We had any public input by phone or anything else?
You wanna give a brief synopsis of what this is about, just so
Yep.
in the audience and
So,
understand what we're trying to do here.
basically, we had the First Amendment and we pushed that through and no problems, and I had added to the medical examiner's budget. But after we did that amendment, I received 3 autopsy bills. And it was just very unexpected, so we went ahead and pushed another amendment through, but kind of giving a brief overview. Back in 22, we spent 28,000 for medical examiner, and 23, we spent 28,000. 24, we only spent 22,000. In 25, we spent 17,000. And so far, year to date, we're at 35,000. So we've gone up that much in medical examiner costs. So that's why we had to do a amendment for 10,000.
How much of that is actually contracted out to the medical examiner on an annual basis? I mean, is he, you pay him a flat fee for the year's service and then all these other things come on top of it, or?
Right, we have the $200 for medical examiner for each time they go out, and then their mileage. And then we have the autopsy fees on top of that. And then the mileage going to, where is it, Ankeny or wherever they need to go for the autopsy. So there's the mileage to and from on those also.
Okay, but is Towner the
Yes.
doctor that's at?
Yes,
Does he get an annual stipend for doing all this?
he does, and I don't know the offhand what that is. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just a fixed rate. I don't think it adjusts with more or less death. I think it's just a fixed rate.
Yeah.
And that was my question.
Yes.
Does he get $10,000 or $20,000 just to be the medical
Yeah,
examiner?
it's just a fixed rate.
Do you know what that is?
It was on our budgets through the ambulance stuff, but I don't remember.
Okay, I got it.
There's too many
That's fine.
numbers to
I was
remember.
wondering how much of that money is already fixed out there for Towner's,
I can get that number for you, though.
well, I can, want to get it too, so.
That's fine.
Is this all this hearing's about?
Yes,
Okay.
that's it.
And you, off the top of your head, you know what they pay in general for each MEI call they have?
Usually it's under $300, usually, but then you have the autopsy cost on top of that, and that's
Understood.
over 2,000 now, and the costs are going up July 1st.
Did they tell you how much?
It was, I think, a couple $100 more.
Did you say 1,200?
Well, 200. I think it was like 200. I don't have the exact numbers. I think it was,
That's all right, okay.
Any further discussion? I'll take the motion to close public hearing.
I'll make a motion, to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Motion second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so now we need to entertain a motion to approve the amendment we just looked at.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 202627, fiscal year 26 budget amendment.
I'll second that.
Motion second, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Is this the last of our amendments?
yeah, there can't be any more for
All right.
past the time.
Okay.
You just sign the top one too.
As well as these other things.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Item number 11. Discussion possible action and resolution 202624. The appropriations.
And this is for next year's budget.
Next year's budget.
This just officially puts the money in everybody's budget for next year.
I would take a motion on approval of this resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 202624, appropriations for fiscal year 27.
I'll second that.
Motion second, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion regarding the jail kitchen, let's see.
So we kind of need to know where the water situation is going out of the complex. Because we can't proceed with trying to figure out the dishwasher issue until the water's fixed. We can't move to a new dishwasher if the water problem's still there.
I emailed them again and I called and left them a message and I cannot get them to respond. I don't
Who's
know,
they?
McCleary's.
He was out there today.
Well,
Well, I don't know who it was.
yeah,
One of
the,
them.
the guys won't know. I gotta get to the office, so. I called him Friday, left a message and emailed him again this morning, hoping he would respond, but I haven't heard anything yet, so. When was I out there? Thursday?
Yeah, I think so.
We approved new media in the water softener and we're not getting any action, so. I don't know what to do. Drive down to his office and kick the door in, take the sheriff with me.
I mean, it just keeps costing us more money. I mean, plus with the dishwasher not working appropriately. I mean, we're spending about $188 a month on just dish soap alone. And it doesn't always get up to temp and we really can't do anything until the water gets fixed. And I thought we were working on that a few months ago. so.
Well, we really need to also cap that line that broke and we're gonna get up by that building. We should do that this summer and get that line abandoned before we have another issue like that in the middle of the winter time, so.
Do we need to be looking at somebody else?
Is there anybody else? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think there is, but I don't know.
I mean, I'll call him again today when I get back to the office. I mean, everybody's on vacation. Maybe he's not answering the phone because of that. I don't know. That doesn't explain the past 2 months. I mean, it's been like 2 months ago when we approved that filter media. I look back at the date, so. Is his office out of Muscatine? Is
Yeah.
that where it is?
Mhm.
I don't have a problem driving up there.
Gotta be other.
I'll make a phone call on one more. If it doesn't work, I will drive
Out
him.
there too, then we don't get results pretty soon.
I'm assuming his office is manned.
So does McClary, is that his business or does he work?
Yeah, no, I don't remember the name of the business.
Ion? Is it Ion?
It's,
And it-
Sean, I may have a different number for him too.
well, I've got an office number. I don't have a cell phone number.
Now, we do have a cell phone.
Chad.
Yeah.
Chad.
Yeah. Well, I've been emailing Tim.
Oh, no, it is Tim. Chad's his son.
Oh, okay.
Tim Clary's the father.
Yeah, I do have a cell phone.
Give it to me. Yeah. I don't want to broadcast it over the
No.
web here, but if you get that to me, I will call that one.
Can I add something else, even though it's not to the kitchen?
Sure.
So, I talked to you about the jail roof leaking still on the work release, cell area. I did reach out to T&K Roofing, who Susan gave me. I mean, they're gonna have to come when it's raining in order to figure out where the leak is, unfortunately. So, but just so you know, I did reach out to them that we need to have something done because the last rain this past weekend, it was almost raining in the work release cell.
Tracy did try.
He did,
He
and
did.
him and I have been talking about
I
it.
mean-
Pictures of it.
The problem that what they did out there, he and I both agree with this, is that when they put all the vents and all the
Mhm.
curbs up there, they just left them squared and just relied on caulking to stop the water from running against it. They should have put dividers up on them to divert the water off and not pile up on the ends of these. I mean, they're big. Some of these vents are huge. And they didn't do that. That stems all the way back to when that place was built and the general contractor not doing what the general contractors should have been doing, is overseeing that kind of stuff, but that was 20. How many years?
2009 was when it was
Yeah,
built.
so it is what it is.
I mean, so I just wanted you to know that in case you see that bill, I mean,
If,
it,
for
it has to
some,
be fixed.
if for some reason, if you would give me that number, I would entertain them not to just go out and put more caulking on it, but actually build some diverters.
He has it called, I left him a message,
Okay.
but I'll just give you this email,
That'd be great.
because I have it.
And I'll
I
try
already
to
did.
take the ball and run with it.
Okay.
Cause that's one problem area, but I can tell you, there's gonna be more
Right.
coming
Yeah.
if we don't do something.
That's just
about
our
it.
major one. I mean, it's like peeled the new paint back and,
Yeah.
I mean,
Give me that stuff and
I will.
I'll run with it.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Is that all you have to
Yes, thank you.
add?
Good morning, everybody. Work on the K Road is happening. The DOT poured one of the lanes under the overpass. I assume they'll be back today or maybe not tomorrow because of the rain, but so anyway, they're working on that. On our project, we have one of the abutments done. Second one will be maybe late today or tomorrow, depending on the rain, which might need Thursday, but anyway, it's improving and getting there, so. Other than that, we did some bridge abutment improvements out on M Avenue, west of town, and that is done. That's good to get that bridge back up. It had a bad pile and abutment on it, so. Maintenance wise, we are been doing a lot of paved road work here this past week or so because it's been wet. That's about the only thing that can happen. The blade guys are out blading and working on things there, so. Other than that, everything seems to be standard. I did go to IMWCA training last week. Was a supervisor training and I had a bunch of HR things and all of that, so it was interesting. Had 2 permits and a road maintenance agreement, which one is first, I guess, on. There's an Eastern Iowa Plant Power RREC. It is for a new home up on J Avenue up there, so. Looks okay to me, so.
Okay,
Looking for a motion?
motion to approve, Eastern Iowa Light and Powers right away.
Okay, I will make that motion for, the bore across J Avenue at 11387 J Avenue.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, then we'll look for item 15, which is another state power and light company application for approval to install a pole. In the city.
And there's a location, so on the calendar, calendar.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay,
We'll make a motion to approve Wise County or
Eastern Iowa that far.
It's interstate power, Eastern power.
Alliant.
Alliant, that's all pulled across 7751 turn, 23rd Avenue.
Second that.
motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next item is resolution 202-628 to adopt the new 60-mile-an-hour speed limit on 2-lane roads.
There any?
No, is that right?
I don't think so.
No, this is establishing a different speed limit. Okay.
Yeah, I have gone out and reviewed our roads, up on the island, around the power plant and all of that. Actually, the speed limit now is 55. Drove them, and like, probably not 55 is not what is being driven up there. It's probably more 35 because there's a lot of houses and trees and curves and all that. And I figured it was an opportunity just to set that before that speed limit becomes 60. So
Yeah.
there's a half a mile of it, I think. So,
Setting it at 35.
yeah.
Setting the speed limit 35 between 172nd Street and X61.
One with the sharp curve.
Mhm.
Pretty sharp curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's really substandard signage there. And if the speed is at 35, it's fine then, so.
Okay.
And it's not a road that you would want to go 60 on, so.
I think we had a deputy one time try to do it at 60. It didn't end out well.
Can't confirm or deny.
Yeah. As a tow truck driver, I'll tell you, it didn't end well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 202-628.
I'll second. Motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we're talking about a road maintenance agreement.
Couple weeks ago, we approved a permit to repair the high voltage line coming out of Columbus City heading south and goes over to Caro and all of that. Eventually comes down on 65th Street. Last time company did a similar project, they had no permit, no nothing, and it really tore up our roads. I pushed back, and so they came up with a road use agreement that they're using in other counties as well, and it looks good to me. Says that they'll, if and when they mess up our roads, they will replace them and all that.
Who
So,
makes that determination? Us or them?
county.
Okay.
So
So is that like all future projects or just this project?
this is just this one.
Well, they're supposed to be putting a new line all the way from like the substation out here on 65th all the way to Winfield here at some point.
Okay.
I mean, they've had it staked like multiple times for the last 2 or 3 years. But they always tell us they're gonna start, but they never have started.
This will come from here, go west, then eventually almost go out to Virginia Grove and then work its way north up to Columbus City. So I'm wondering if the other one to branch off of that or
Let me
something.
wait for the corn to get a little taller.
Why they keep putting the stakes down, we just keep running over.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Give them somebody a job. I'll make a motion if you're looking for one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the road maintenance agreement with ITC.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I don't need to sign that. Okay. That's it, Adam, for you.
Just secondary roads transfer.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's it for Adam.
Yeah, do that.
We don't have to transfer him any money. Yeah, we're done.
Actually, you legally have to, so.
This approval of transfer from
Rural in general.
rural and general into secondary roads.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 202625.
Second.
Motion second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Found the tar kettle yet?
What, you found the tar kettle yet?
No. Illinois, if they're like steroids that way.
Yes, I know. Thing is, we're gonna be ready to get a property tax here coming, and there's not gonna be any extra funds for anything, so.
A lot of roads could use it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, discussion possible action for generator at the complex.
I think you had some questions last time, Kevin, didn't you?
We did.
I think
One was
got
on-
we got someone here.
Both companies.
Most of, okay, great.
Okay.
Lead times,
Lead time
and wattage
and more,
is what I have wrote down.
yes.
So I quoted, I'm Trent with Hope, you want me to stand up?
Please.
Alright.
That way it's recorded.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm Trent with Hope Electric out of Winfield. I did the Generac one. And I just did a direct replacement. What's there currently is 45 kilowatt and I quoted a 48.
Okay.
Because Generac doesn't make a 45 in that type of XG protector series one. And the lead time I just checked today, it's about 15 business days on those, whenever, I think it's ordered, so.
What do you anticipate for installation time?
So I figured it'd take about a week to do everything. The only scheduling thing we need to address is we have to turn the power off with, REC to tie it in. So that'd probably be a weekend thing, or if you don't want it on the weekend, it'd be at night. So that's the only, everything else is pretty straightforward. It'd just be scheduling that. And we can do that with the people at the complex.
That would have only, public health is closed on the weekend and conservation, the sheriff department has power in their offices.
No, we'll have power in the jail.
Just the jail.
Right,
And
I meant your offices would be
They-
affected
Yes,
if the power is shut off.
if we
That'd
plan
be the
it,
only one that
if
would
we plan it, we'll be fine.
in the kitchen.
We would just have public health worry about their coolers for their,
Yeah, we'd have to let Lee in.
medicines that they have.
Yeah.
That would be a huge concern on their part.
Yeah.
And I brought a data sheet if you want to go over that too. What it looks like. But they have a 5-year warranty or 2,000 hours, but
Are you pouring a pad or?
pouring a pad, yes.
Yeah. I think, Brandon, if I'm not mistaken, we were talking about maybe getting rid of the diesel
Tank.
tank and putting it basically
Yeah,
there.
we could go right, and it's pretty much where you guys said, right beside it, we just get rid of that tank and move it over one.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm John Brooker, Brookhart Electric. I quoted the other one. I sized the generator as 150 watts, kilowatts. So it's 470 amps. That's for future growth. Anything that you add in there, it'll be covered. It's not just your bare essentials. So, and the lead time my generator is 32 weeks. And if it's needed, doing that during the week, I bring a temporary generator in and hook that in and running the facility while we're in the process of doing it. So it's up to you guys whether you want the bare essentials or you want to cover for future growth. And this is a colder generator which got bought out by Relco, which is still the same generator. So it's up to you guys which direction you want to go.
So almost 3 times bigger.
3 times bigger.
Okay.
Almost the size of the yellow. I think that's 125. Been 4 years since I worked on that one.
Well, I think that answered your questions, right? Yep. What do you guys want to do?
I don't know if I see, I mean, the building size, there can't be that much growth in that site into the building
Um,
without adding
Do you have
on.
any plans to do anything, but you never know, I guess.
My question is, why didn't we get any bids from local, from county electricians?
Yes, I agree with that. Where we were at, we're, hey, let's just get some quotes and see where we're at, and it kind of morphed into this. Now we got quotes out on the street, and it's a little hard to go back and yeah, we didn't probably go do the right thing. We probably should have went and formally done this, but here we are.
Some don't offer generator work like these guys do. It's just standard electrical work.
I think in the future, we need to make sure that we're actually formally advertising and getting requesting quotes. This is some of the stuff that the supervisors did before I came on, and it was some of the complaints that we were getting, so we need to do it differently next time. And I would absolutely agree with that. But here we are. If you want to entertain a motion, I'll give you one. You guys can vote it up or down, whatever you want to do. You want to entertain one?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to go with, the 45,000 watt. From Hodextra Electric. I don't anticipate any further growth out there, and by that time, we may need a different one anyway, so. The quote is $78,176.03.
And this will happen in next year's budget. Okay.
No, second.
We have a motion and a second, any further discussion? I don't know if is there somebody in the Louisa County that does this?
I don't know.
No, I think so.
I'm like, you guys, I would like to keep the business in the county if possible. Have a motion and a second,
Vote it up or down, that's why we're here.
any further discussion?
Was it possible that we can reopen it for bids or not?
It's up to you guys, but I mean, that's kind of, we've already got bids out there.
Yeah, if the numbers weren't released, I feel a little more comfortable doing that, but
I just didn't know legally if we could do that or.
throwing some of these
Legally,
people in the
yeah.
bus.
Award this because it's under the 115,000 cap.
I know, but could we legally not accept either one and make everybody rebid?
Yeah,
That I don't know. And Adam's on vacation till Monday.
I would say it's not really fair for people that
No.
already did.
Exactly.
To give everybody else
another chance to
Right,
come
I
under.
don't know what the numbers are.
Yeah.
Lately.
Yeah.
Should have been thought about it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If we're done with discussion. Take a vote.
Aye.
Motion carried. Was that unanimous then? Well, I would vote nay on it myself, so. 2-1, I guess.
Call for pool.
Like I said, though, I think next time we need to
Yeah.
make sure that we're not just asking for.
Right.
I mean, if you want round numbers, that's fine. You can just call and say, give me a ballpark.
Right. Yeah.
We're, this will be done, so I'm sure.
We can talk about this at department head meeting,
Yeah.
but on department head, about quotes and everything.
Yeah, even though it doesn't meet the threshold, I still agree that's a large amount of money that we should be bidding.
Well,
And we should
Oh,
put a
yeah.
policy in place, so I
Yes.
think we need to write some kind of policy.
it would stop it before we go down this path. Yeah,
Because there's no policy in place unless it's federal grants right now.
I agree.
So I think there's needs to be a policy put in place.
Yeah. Totally agree with that.
Okay, item number 20 is discussion regarding the moratorium for data centers. I can read the ordinance if you'd like. Whereas the county does not currently have a specific ordinance regarding the development of data centers within the unincorporated area of Louisa County. And whereas the county has adopted a comprehensive plan for future use of land within the unincorporated areas of the county. And whereas the county has an interest in regulating the use of land through its zoning regulations consistent with the county's comprehensive plan. Whereas the Board of Supervisors recognize that data center development may have a significant impact on land use patterns, water resources, electrical infrastructure, environmental quality, agricultural land preservation, noise, lighting, property values, and the overall effect of the Louisa County residents. Whereas the Board of Supervisors require time to gather information regarding the impact of data center construction in the unincorporated area of the county and to coordinate with multiple agencies for the purpose of reviewing, updating, and creating ordinances, policies, procedures, and relative to data center development. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Louisa County imposes a moratorium effective immediately for 18 months or upon the passing an ordinance in relation to data center development, whichever comes first, on all rezonings, conditional use permit applications, building permit associated with construction of data center project for the purpose of drafting and adopting the necessary and proper zoning ordinances regulating the construction of these data.
Why only for 18 months?
You
You can only do it so long.
can't do it indefinitely there.
Why only for data centers? Why didn't you include Bitcoin financial institutions? I mean, they're the same thing, but they're a whole different thing. Data centers, they have worthless information and pornography in them. Bitcoins is a whole different algorithm figuring out a solution. It's two different things, and they're classified as two different things. You should have Bitcoin financial institutions and likewise in there along with the data centers.
I never heard that that was an issue, so.
It is. And they have huge servers. They use lots of water and lots of electricity. They need to be included along with the data center. Those particular.
Well, we may have to do a separate.
You need to look into that and not just take my word for it. You need to look into it and it needs to be added to it.
What happens?
Because it's different classifications.
What happens when somebody comes along and renames them? Does exactly the same thing, but renames them? Yeah, I mean,
Well, they're doing two different
the
things.
buzzword right now is data center.
Right, but also Bitcoin.
Later on, they call them something
And I
else.
think there might be one in the process of being built in Des Moines County, but they need to be looked into too, because like I said,
One of the reasons we're doing this today is because they did slip one in Louisa County or in Des Moines County.
you've got one in Lee County.
Yeah.
But Bitcoins needs to be added to this
Well,
and look into
it's
this.
a separate thing. We probably need to do a separate more.
It's not really a separate thing.
Yes,
So
it is.
it's a data center. It's a server. It just goes through Bitcoin. It's called a mining center.
Right.
And it's probably the same thing legally. If it came down to it.
I've had much discussion with my banker about this. He's been to a seminar in San Diego in March, and he says it's a completely different situation.
I think that should be brought up to the zoning board and then adopt it. And a separate one to handle that one.
Okay. I can do that.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Well, yeah, you need
I
to,
didn't think it was a,
it is.
Quick question on that. Is the plan to develop a zoning ordinance specifically for these, or is it
just allowing it.
I would add, you know, whether you like data centers or Bitcoin or not.
It's doing two different
You know,
things.
we are gonna be pretty
Well,
slow
it's still
for
got cooling.
development, your taxes,
The data
property,
centers.
you know, we,
This is just a halt until we have a zoning ordinance in place.
because we are seeing a lot of development of completely unzoned thing, but it's at, you know what I'm saying, that is it fair to pick and choose which is that, so.
Well, like Des Moines County, they had one put in with, and it was built and running before they ever even knew about it.
So I heard the complaints about the one up in Muscatine, and the question is, do you just not like it because you don't like it, or is it actually harming anybody? I don't know the answers to
Well,
that.
They make lots of noise.
Muscatine restricted into industrial zone.
They make lots of noise. All those fans running to cool those servers make lots of noise. So,
And there's a lot of difference, just talking to Bruce last week. There is closed loop systems where they don't dispose of the water, but then there's other systems that they're trying to pump the water back into the ground or into
Yeah.
the sewers and. Sewers, you need to know what their plans are for that.
well, you need to think of what the neighbors too with the noise.
That's why we're doing this until we have an ordinance and
Don't forget about Bitcoins, all that.
addresses all of this here.
And like, there's also different things that are like Bitcoin renamed, but you know, anything.
Well, we put up plenty of barriers for people to build new houses. I don't know why we wouldn't put up a barrier to stop some of this stuff. I mean. Still kind of a hot button with me anyway, so. Do you need a?
Well, what we need is we need to set a, the
Public
next
hearing?
thing on the agenda is to set a date and time for a public hearing.
You know, I'm open to options. What are your options?
Basically, July 7th, if I have to publish, it wouldn't be published until next week. And it has to be published at least 4 days and in between 20 days. So,
That's our evening meeting, right?
yeah, that would be.
Okay. So, give me a time that you,
But we want to do 6:15. We can have it first thing in the meeting.
everybody good with that? I'll make a motion stating that if you're okay with it.
Yeah.
Make a motion to set the public, time and date for July 7th at 6:15 PM. For public hearing on ordinance 26.1.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? All those in favor,
Alright,
opposed? I need to sign this.
No, because it's not in policy yet.
Discussion, possible action regarding proposal to readjust the Louisa County Geodetic Code Network.
Morning. So we ended up finding out that there is a committee, GIS committee in Louisa County. It was, basically defunct since 19. We had I would say a preliminary meeting, that we would be interested in continuing having these meetings. So that includes, people from my conference board, so I'll have to get approval from the conference board and then they can appoint somebody during that. And I think some of the questions lingering were from other counties and then specifically what would affect Beacon on our end. So did hear back from Des Moines County and He said historically, the GIS department has basically maintained and updated everything on their end, for the benefit of the whole county. And then a little bit of what our GIS guy said, what I could do with Louisa County cadastral parcel data, after receiving the control points, it would be all within the current contract hours. They call them flex hours. So it wouldn't affect our budget any. And there'd be no additional cost on that end. Said it might fix some of the bad data, but it won't fix the bad data, but it could improve it. And we wouldn't have to worry about the parcels overlapping and duplicating, so. That's what I got from ours, so we will continue the GIS committee. So more to come on that. Any questions?
What was the cost of this thing?
I think it was 13, something like that.
It says it's $11,951. And then there's an optional modernization monument record, which I'm assuming takes and modernizes the property line is 10 feet from this fence post. And turns it into,
Well, it also provides a database for surveyors to look up, I guess, to
Yeah.
access and.
one of the things we discussed was that if the feds and the states all start using this system and the surveyors are using this system and we're not using this system, it could lead to some conflict on,
On how the points are collected.
so. But, I don't know,
The total cost.
the total cost would be $15,251.
Well, the problem is we didn't budget for that, so we're gonna have to figure out. Well,
One of the things we had in discussion was in our professional, the line item professional technological, we might need to add $10,000 a year just for, I mean, if we don't use it, but just to have it there. Something like this comes up, so.
This is a one-time cost or is it annual?
One time, understanding that a computer is a one-time cost until they tell you it doesn't
work anymore.
work anymore and
Okay.
they're updating again.
I think the original system was, created in the early 2000s. And we may have updated it once in like 12 or something like that.
I think it was 2007 was our last.
Okay, yeah, and it hasn't been updated since, so.
Okay.
So if we decide to go ahead with this. There's feelings on that.
Is there a timeline on when it has to be done?
Every other county is either in the process of getting theirs resurveyed or will have it done over the next couple months. The goal, I think, of everybody is to have it all done and up by the end of the year, I think, so.
So where would this money come from?
Possibly lost, or we just do an amendment. I might have to do an amendment earlier instead of,
This would be on next year though?
it would be
Oh,
on
yeah.
26, 27. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you would do the work until end of this month or into next month, which would be next fiscal year.
It sounds like something we need to be doing, so I'll go ahead and make the motion to accept the proposal to readjust the Louisa County Geodetic Control Network. Guess my feeling is we'll probably have some lost money on it, but. Yes, because we don't have it budgeted.
One thing I don't think we should have to do, but I guess we do.
And I don't agree with that point.
I'll second it.
There's a lot of things in the county I don't think we should have to be paying for, but here we are.
Okay. Motion and a second, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? I sign in. A little side note on that, it was interesting, I was at the State Republican Convention. And the treasurer said that they're making over $1 million a day off the state's investments. $400 million a year, and yet
Didn't they just pass a law saying you couldn't keep too much savings?
Oh, for the county.
Yeah, for counties,
Yeah,
we can't save too much.
Yeah.
and fund your own stuff, when I'm funding that.
Rules for me, not
We have
for you, use for you.
That's not on the agenda, so.
No.
Discussion and possible action to approve a handful of fireworks from this year.
These did not get emailed to you, so you'll have to look at the application.
Okay.
Here we go. See the complaints on Facebook already.
We have one for Marlon O'Donnell, one for Denise McCully, one for Jason McConaughey, one for Dave Hills in Columbus Junction, one for Rebecca Usler, and one for Grandview Community Club. If you need to look them over or not,
No.
pretty much the ones that get the leaders, so if we approve them, I want to do anything.
You can just do
Okay.
it.
Take a motion to approve the.
I'll make a motion to approve all of the firework permits.
I'll second that.
Motion is second. Any further discussion?
Or some wasn't in there, huh?
I didn't see any.
It'll probably end up being on there next week. Just in a lake
Yeah,
side.
they only have one more chance.
Yeah, that's it.
All
We're
those,
making phone calls, so.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Sure. Opposed? Any other county employees that have any information they want to share with us this time?
Motion for adjournment.
We are adjourned. Okay.